So what's going on everyone, my name is MrDalekJD and welcome to the first part in a two-part mini-series. We're going to be looking at things cut from Call of Duty Zombies. Now what I mean specifically by cut is referring to unused weapons, perks, anything added into the Zombies maps which were never fully used in the final product. And boy oh boy, there are a lot of things which could have been in Zombies. Now in today's video we're taking a look at where Zombies first started with Call of Duty World at War and Black Ops 1. Now before we jump into things, if you're logged into a YouTube channel and you do enjoy today's video, be sure to click that thumbs up button as it lets me know you enjoyed it, and if there was any facts you did not know, let me know in the comments. Now, during development of Call of Duty games, many things are cut during the process of development. These changes can range from weapons and characters to entire campaign missions and features. But did you know a total of 20 weapons were cut from World at War entirely? These guns include the Lee Enfield, the Sten, the Bren, the PPS-43, the PMD-6 and the Kamikaze. But other weapons are inaccessible and unavailable without the use of console cheats, such as the Dirty Harry, which is an M1911 pistol that fires rifle grenades. I think PhD Flopper would definitely be needed on that one. Now I'm sure you've all seen this, but the weapon Brains is used by the shambling undead inside the Zombies mode, and it has proper first person animations, works perfectly as a playable weapon, and these animations were featured for 3 brief moments in the official Verruckt Zombies trailer. This must have been when Treyarch were thinking about the idea of the turned game mode. But what's crazy is within UNRELEASED there is a total of 4 guns which we never see that have Pack-a-Punch upgrades. The first one is the Arisaka, which becomes the Eviscerator. This gun was canned at an early stage and there are no engravings on the metal like the other guns, and the only change was a stainless steel on the metal. The Mosin-Nagant was used in the main game but never inside of Zombies, but it can be obtained in UNRELEASED and Verruckt with the help of console commands, and a Pack-a-Punch version can be seen in the game's files. However, the only change is the metal on the weapons. The Springfield suffers the same fate. It's an unused weapon with an unnamed Pack-a-Punch variant, but again its only change is a stainless steel effect. And last but not least, the sawn-off double barrel shotgun. This has a Pack-a-Punch upgrade which was scrapped called the Snuff Box. This one's actually completely finished and you can see it by the way of modding, and it looks like a pretty awesome weapon. Now what's extremely interesting is there's English text for a wall buy to buy mortar rounds inside of Zombies for 2,000 points, and this shows it was cut from Zombies as well, and it's most likely cut due to the extreme power and its large blast radius. And what's funny as well is the Surette, the knife and a signal flare were all involved in the game and have HUD icons. Treyarch really started up the hype for Takio's katana very early on, as there is creator class icons and HUD icons for a katana. Now there was only one perk machine inside of World at War Zombies that was cut, and this is the infamous Ammo-Matic machine. This was supposed to appear in Numa and UNRELEASED, but it was removed at the last minute for unknown reasons. This machine is proven to give a max ammo for the player using it, and bits of audio inside of World at War can be found that relate to the Ammo-Matic. Now it's unknown what the price of this machine would be or how this machine would function, but it's similar in size and shape to Double Tap and Stamina Up, and it has the same colour as the Quick Revive perk machine, and it appears to be based off the appearance of a certain type of Stoner 180 candy vending machine. Now when it comes to the Zombies map Verruckt, the original version definitely gives off that really creepy, scary vibe that we really have been wanting a long time in Zombies. But did you know that this map actually houses a few more secrets than meets the eye? If the player uses the no-clip console command and flies above the power room, there is a floating sign with a zombie on it. Freaky. And if you use no clip near the fountain, you'll find a mounted MG42 in the fountain. It is usable, though it has no practical use, so perhaps Treyarch were thinking at one point that this area was going to be playable space. What else is strange is outside of the barrier with the unlockable room with a deployable bar in it, there are rows of usable MGs under the ground, which include the bar, the FG42, MG42 and the Browning M1919, and these can only be seen using no clip. And finally, hellhounds were originally supposed to appear in Verruckt. Now when it comes to Shi No Numa, there isn't that much to talk about, but weirdly, if we watch the reveal trailer for the map, you can see the zombies had red glowing eyes instead of their yellow glowing eyes. We're not too sure why that change took place, but the only other maps to have red eye glowing zombies are Mob of the Dead and Gorod Krovi, which is very interesting indeed. Now besides all the main details we've spoken about, the only thing with Derice is when using no clip, you can see a teddy bear floating in a blank hallway near the double barrel shotgun. The floating teddy bear is there to give the illusion of the teddy bear shadow, but it looks a bit weird when you actually no clip and just see this teddy floating. Something cool within the Black Ops 1 terminal is this concept art image of Derice, which is seen from the animal test laboratory, and you can tell it looks a lot bloodier and scarier than it does in game, and if it looked like that, that would be absolutely insane. Now our final fact of World at War is, in my opinion, the most interesting. Did you know there is a cut zombie mode called Payload? The objective was to escort an unspecified payload before the timer ended, and if you didn't kill enough zombies, it would have led to the session ending. There's a few lines of strings within the game which references stuff saying escort the payload, zombie timer, mission failed, you did not kill enough zombies, and you have become the master of unlocking. This last bit suggests the reward would be to unlock something possibly as the objective of the payload, and funnily enough, the words the master of unlocking is a reference to the Resident Evil series where protagonist Jill Valentine is jokingly called this early in the first game, and a similar version of this whole payload idea is seen in the Gorod Krovi Easter egg, where the players escort both a Valkyrie drone and a Russian Mangler soldier to a specified area. Enough talk about payloads, let's move on to Black Ops 1 zombies. So in terms of weapons, we have the Brains, which functions exactly like it did in World at War, has proper first person animations, works perfectly as a player weapon, so again, something that they were looking into, but they just left it in. We also have the return of the Dirty Harry, which is the M1911 pistol that fires rifle grenades. We also have the P38, which is carried by Steiner in a cutscene for the mission Project Nova. However, this gun is never seen in normal gameplay. The light machine gun, the RPD, was supposed to exist in the game, and it only exists in the game's data, but oddly enough, Black Ops on the Nintendo DS does feature this weapon. Thompson was set to appear and was planned for other zombies maps besides the classic maps returning in the Resurrection DLC. There's voice clips for the Thunder Gun which suggests it was going to be usable in the map 5, but was then replaced by the Winter's Howl. There's also voice clips which suggest that the Wunderwaffe DG2 was supposed to be usable in Kino der Toten and 5. It also has a cut Pack-a-Punch variant called the Wunderwaffe DG3JZ, which we only see in Derice. Another weird weapon, the AK-47, appears in zombies but it's half finished. It cannot be Pack-a-Punched and it's missing gun sounds. However, the Pack-a-Punched variant still remains, called the Red Mist. This is a fully completed weapon and it has a flamethrower attachment. There are also extra Pack-a-Punched variants for the Caparis, the WA-2000, the Stoner 63 and the Scorpion. Now our beloved PPSH's upgraded version, the Grim Reaper, had working sounds but it did not have Pack-a-Punch textures. The Uzi was cut as well as the KS-23, and unlike these other cut weapons, the Mac-11, the Enfield and the M60 have working sounds and existing Pack-a-Punch textures. But I think the craziest cut weapon of all is one called the Sabertooth, which is a big ass chainsaw intended for zombies mode. The code, the player animations and some zombie functions still exist, but it can only be used by shunting it over into normal multiplayer with the mod tools. If you've seen this weapon on some World at War custom zombie maps, now you know where it came from. Treyarch originally intended there to be a chainsaw weapon. Holy crap. Now when it comes to cut perks from Black Ops 1, we have quite a few surprisingly. The first one is called Pronade, which is a cut Perca-Cola that was planned for the Zombies map Ascension, and sound files for it still exist. Now another perk called Tough Brew was also planned for the Zombies map Ascension. There are sound files of the characters talking about it, but Dempsey is the only one who mentions it by name. And finally we have Candelier, which is a cut Perca-Cola, which is probably going to be similar to the Bandit Bandolier perk from Modern Warfare and World at War, and an icon for this perk still exists in the game. In terms of cut zombie enemies, we had quite a few different zombie enemies throughout Black Ops 1, including George Romero. Now funnily enough, no weird crazy zombie enemies were cut besides Hellhounds, which were supposed to be fought in 5, but instead we got the Pentagon Thief. Yay. Now our final bit of trivia is going to be about zombie maps. Now I'm sure all of you guys know, but if you didn't know already, that DLC 4 for Black Ops 1 was supposed to be set in Paris, France, before being eventually changed to Moon, and the codename for Moon is still zombie_Paris within the game. Now no images have been publicly revealed of what Paris was supposed to look like, but if you look at the biodome from a bird's eye view, the biodome essentially is what was going to be underneath the Eiffel Tower itself. This could all be down to interpretation, but within the files there was a zombie map definition in the second DLC pack called Temple of Doom. Now this very well may have been replaced with Shangri-La, and that's what Shangri-La could be. But there still is some small speculation that there was something else separate from Shangri-La, a map called Temple of Doom. That's all we've got for today's video, guys, looking at the things cut from Call of Duty Zombies. Next video, we will be looking at Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 Zombies, looking at what was cut from those games. If you've managed to make it to this point, give yourself a pat on the back, and also feel free to click that like button before you click off the video, as I'd really appreciate it. If this gets enough support, we'll continue this series on with possibly other zombie modes such as Exo Zombies, Extinction, and Infinite Warfare Zombies. But thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you on another one soon.